Hey, good morning, people. Good morning. This is Spirit Journey. Wow. Yeah, I don't do as much of these, what do you call it? Use this platform, StreamYard. I don't really use it much, that much these days. But once in a while I use it. Um, yeah, I've been awake now for maybe half an hour. And yeah, I have the blinds closed. And you know how I like to film out the window. But you know, the blinds are closed, and so you can't see outside anyway. So I say, hey, let me do a stream yard. You get to see my little face. Yeah, I might change it. Might change the picture. But yeah, good morning. Today is October 23. I think it's, yeah, October 23, 2025. And it was after 4 o'clock. Might be, let's see. It's like, okay, it's about 4:17 in the morning, about that time. So, good morning. Yes, I'm just relaxing right now and have been doing some thinking. Wow, you see my title? Don't get pulled in. Yes, don't get pulled in. Uh, any of you notice what I notice? I know I talked about this before, but I just see it more and more these days. Um, do you feel that you're getting pulled in? Are you getting sucked in? And for me, I've, I think it started for me actually in 2016 back in America. Um, I want to talk about the media. Okay. I'm in my 60s, my early 60s. I'm from New York City. And how I felt back then, okay, how I felt prior to uh, 2000, the year 2000, things pretty much was just standard. Um, um, when I was living with my family, you know, I was a young adult and my teen years, I would watch the news. And I remember the news channels that I watched. Back in the 1970s, like the mid 70s, I used to watch Channel 7 News, everything Channel 7. I enjoyed Channel 7 News and the programs. They even used to have the Battle of the Networks, where your favorite channel, because again, television was heavily, you know, part of the culture. You know, you go to your 9 to 5 job or whatever job you have. You come home, and then by 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, you are watching the news or a type of news program. Yeah, they used to like have these shows. Oh, I forget the the name of these shows. I mean, it's a format like it's like the news and media. You hear about your celebrities, actors, actresses, maybe some musicians, you know, people who are in this who are known in the media, and I watch these programs, and the regular, you know, the straight news. I always felt um, I felt that I was respected with what I watched. Um, Everybody was professional. And yeah, I love some, excuse me, I like the news program. Um, I was in New York at this time. Um, yeah, Channel 7. And then I started also watching Channel 4 News. Yeah, and I liked it. I remember Channel 4 News had Chuck Scarborough and Sue Simmons, the pretty people. And I remember I had a little crush on I think it was Chuck Scarborough. He was like the quiet type, uh, masculine but soft energy. And it was pretty Sue Simmons. And I highly respect these news. Yeah, I love these people. There wasn't, you just sit there looking at your TV screen and you see the people there. And I accepted everything like the gospel. I wasn't religious back then, but I used that expression. I later on got into the Bible. But yeah, I never questioned, never questioned. And I think it was Channel 7 News, yeah, Eyewitness News with, his name was Roger Grinsby and Bill Butel. Um, then it was Spencer Christian. Oh, yeah, yeah. These are people like TV personalities. And I highly value these people. I mean, I'm really dating myself. Yeah, but, um, I don't think any of those people are even still alive. But yeah, I used to watch these news channels, and they were highly respected. And they wear a suit and tie, and the ladies they wore very conservative outfits, very tasteful. And they'll sit there and they just gave the news. They'll be reading something on their desk. A little fast forward by what year? I think the late 1980s, yeah, mid 1980s. I knew someone who had an account. One of their clients, were at the television studios. And they had mentioned that the news that is given, that you watch every night, is all scripted. That they're not like, it's not like spontaneous. They're reading from a piece of paper everything, and that even the jokes that they say, and when they be laughing, wow. I think that was then. That it was like a sneak peek that there was something more to the news. That this is going back like 40 years. And I was surprised. Wait a minute, it's the news. No, it's a script. Did any of these people, did any of these people go out and researched these news reports? Those daily news reports that you get from your favorite newscaster. Oh yeah, also was the weather, the weather people. Yeah. What's his name? Oh, what's his name? Storm Fields. Oh, another character. Yeah, he was like the youngest in the bunch. Oh, I forget what channel, whether it was Channel 4 or Channel 7 in New York. Storm Fields. Yeah. He's like a nice little guy. And he would just talk behind his, in front of his screen, and he'd point at the screen and give the news. I mean, the weather for the week or something like that. The forecast. Highly respected these people. But yeah, people, the news that we watch, we sit there passively. I was watching passively the news and accepting everything, everything that I heard with belief. I mean, these are my favorite people. These people don't lie. They tell you the truth. Everything has to be true what they're telling you. Are these people doing their own research? I mean, once in a while you might have, like when it's world issues, I think they call them world issues. And I was very intimidated by those news people. They're sitting at like at a a, a different type of desk, like they have um, how they have the chairs arranged, and they'll be interviewing an official, and they always look so important with their suit and tie. They always look so important. And back then, in those days, in the 1970s, and yeah, especially 1970s, and a big part of the 1980s, um, they would have, they'll always have men. They would get older men to interview these world leaders, things like that. Would never, never will question anything about it. But I always felt intimidated, and oh, this is so important and it's above my head. I never really understood. I don't understand politics. But now, okay, fast forward for 40 plus years in the future from all these times, um, the news has changed. In fact, a lot of people aren't watching television anymore, and they're watching their phones instead. They're watching their favorite, what we call podcasters. And how these people got so popular, I don't know. That the views that some of these people get trumps the news, the major news people, you know, by viewership. They make, these podcasters get more views than these, what was that, NBC. I don't even hear ABC anymore. I don't. I don't hear it. When I briefly came back to New York, 21 months ago, um, it was a different channel. It was see, now there's cable. You know, I mean, I think cable kind of came out in the 1970s. Well, by the 80s, I remember when I graduated from high school, I had a friend that moved out of her folks' house. She's living with her boyfriend, and she was talking about cable TV, cable. And cable was infamous. Cable was primarily for people who like things that they can't show on public TV. That's what it was known for. But now, mainstream America has cable TV. They have it all in a bundle now. You get cable TV, um, telephone service. What else now? What else? And internet. Your whole media, everything under the same people. Yeah. And so people started getting the cable. Yeah, when did I get cable? Um, I had gotten cable in America uh, continually. Let's see. I think it was 2000. It could have been 2005. Yeah, I think it was 2005. Oh, wait a minute. They had dial-up. I had the dial-up first, and then I had a school project in college, and I needed to be able to go on the internet and do my research, and then call my partner, my project partner for school. And so I was forced that, that was 2004. Yeah, that was 2004. Um, when I got the, not dial up, but, cable, you know, yeah, because before I was using the landline, your telephone line to go on the internet, or if you have to do a fax, you couldn't do two things at the same time. You had to do one or the other. So I said, hey, let me get the full thing so I could do my project and call at the same time. And that costed money. And that's when it began for me that being part of the internet culture. And then I slowly started being introduced to different programs. Yeah, and again, I didn't have television back then. By this time, when I moved to my own place in 2000 and 2003 in New York, yeah, I didn't have television, but I had a radio, just a regular radio, and I used to watch all these different programs. I initially just watched uh, Bible radio, and slowly this change. I stopped watching, listening to radio. Radio was, you had your radio next to your bed, and when you go to sleep, I had it on all night, all night. I loved it. That's what I would do. It was part of my life, even in childhood, and it carried over even in adulthood in the 2000s. Yeah. Then I slowly started. Oh, what did happen now? Yeah. I remember. Let's see. Michael Jackson passed away in 2009, and I was listening to the radio, and I had gotten. Yeah, I was listening to a program, and I was in shock. Yeah, that day I had a doctor's appointment, and when I was coming home, I think I heard the news about. First, it was about Farrah Fawcett, the very famous movie actress. She was star of Charlie's Angels on the 1970s. Yeah, I was a freshman in high school when that came out, I think. Yeah. And I remember the announcement was made. I think when I was coming home, or somehow I heard it. But I fell asleep when I got home. I took a nap and I got up in the evening. Yes, it was evening. And either I turned on my radio uh, or it came on by itself. I don't remember. And that's when I heard about Michael Jackson passing away. and it was a radio personality, a oh, what's his name? Sliwa, something Sliwa, and I knew of him from 1980, all the way from 1980 to 2009. I mean, this person was in. He was very much a part of the. I consider part of the pop culture. He was a major personality from the radio. He was a part of the. He was the founder. I think he was the actual founder of an organization called the Guardian Angels. New York City in the early 80s was extremely, extremely dangerous. And they would wear like a little uniform. They're known for their red beret. They were red, and I think it had like a little jacket. But it was something identifiable. And I think it had the name um, Guardian Angels on it. And back then in the early 80s, they were not liked by the police officers because, see, they were like a private group who would walk in the subways and and to protect the citizens that are in the subway or in the trains. Yeah, but they also play them off as thugs too. Many of these people from the Bronx and um, Sliwa also was from the Bronx. The Bronx has a reputation. Um, Not all the Bronx is the same, but it has a some parts a very strong edge to them. It is a lot of poverty in certain portions, like the South Bronx. Very, very poor. It is the poorest section of New York City, the South Bronx. We have many very extreme poverty areas and high crime areas throughout the city, but it's known for that, the South Bronx. And so this group would you hear them on the news back then, the early 80s, walking the subways or just in the general population, but they were known for, in particular, uh, protecting the people who are riding the cars, the trains, I meant to say. Yeah. But they weren't liked by the police because the police thought they were trying to take over their jobs. And this organization was all about protecting the people. It was these people volunteered. Excuse me, they volunteered for this work. No one, it's not like they're being paid. These are volunteer people, um, and many of these people live in high crime areas, and they're tired of it. So yeah, there was a strain between these two groups, the police and the guardian angels, and things just started to. Oh, I almost forgot what I was getting at. Why I brought up about the guardian angel. Yeah, about with Michael Jackson, who passed away in July. Yeah, he passed away in July, uh, 2009, and so uh, I had fallen asleep earlier that day from going. I had a doctor's appointment earlier, and by the time I got it wasn't good news that I got, and I fell asleep. I was very exhausted. And when I got up and I had the radio on, I hear this rhetoric on the radio, and it was Sliwa, and he was saying such horrible things about Michael Jackson. Now, I wasn't, I was not like a big fan of Michael Jackson, but he was part of the pop culture of the day. I mean, Michael Jackson uh, was world known. Um, but his popularity in America um, was strained. And that also started in the early 80s. But either way, so Slia was saying very, what I felt was very slanderous um, sentiments about Michael Jackson at the time. And I was wondering what he was talking about. Why is he saying, or what's going to happen with his daughter, and this and that. So what happened? And he was laughing. And then they said he was gone. He was deceased. And this is late at night. I started crying. I think it was the first time I cried for a celebrity. And I cried because someone that was a part of the New York culture, the founder of the Guardian Angels, and again, Sliwa was very much. Um, he came across like he was the friend of the black man and the friend of the Puerto Rican and other Hispanics, like the Hispanics from the Caribbean. That's how he came across. Like he felt for the people, the poor black people, the poor Hispanics, um, and he wasn't liked by the police. And then lo and behold, by 2009, he was becoming more like a radio celebrity, even more so from when he started in the early 1980s. Yeah, he started to sound more like he's into politics, and he seemed to dislike the constituents that got him the popularity in the 1980s, the early 80s. And even before Michael Jackson's passing, when I listened to the radio with him on it, you know, um, he was awful. I said, this can't be the same man that I used to watch. He was well liked by the New York community. Yeah. Sliwa, I forget his first name, but his last name is Sliwa. He's extremely popular. And he seemed like an advocate for the um, the underdog. Now he was more like uh, he seemed like what some people may call a sellout. And I respected his work initially, and then he changed his format um, with radio. He used to be married to this lady, and they were a cute little couple. And he had divorced her some time ago. It had to be a long. I'm not sure when, but I think it was a very long time ago. But it was like him and his wife, and they had a great little um, program on the radio. They were very funny, you know. He had a play with words. So, but now, his format changed on the radio in uh, the early part of the millennium, and very much into like pop, more like you know, talk about the different politicians, and it's like this is a completely different guy. Yeah, so I stopped watching him, you know. And then when Michael Jackson had passed away, he was on. I forget what channel Sliwa is on now in New York. This is New York City Radio, and he's actually, his name calling the late Michael Jackson, saying horrible, horrible things. And it was then I cried for the first time due to, yeah, I think it was the first time I cried from my belly. I cried so hard because I said, how could someone talk about the dead like this? You know, I know of this man, this Lewa. Why is he attacking someone who just died? Yeah, he had died early that day, Michael Jackson. Yeah, and so I had fallen asleep, and I only heard about Farrah Fawcett at that time, in 2009, in July. It was July, and and then I listened. I went on, I think, another radio station to try to find what in the world happened, and that's when I learned. And it's like radio changed at that point for me. Radio. I mean, I remember the 1990s. It was the decade of the shock jocks. Yeah, the shock jocks. And they would go on the radio. Some of them would say racial slurs against black people. But people, and especially black Americans, in my opinion, those shock jocks were just there to just get a rise out of you because it makes ratings and it makes them more controversial and it makes them more money. They got off on it, these radio, these shock jocks, these radio personality people. Primarily, they were men. And there was Wendy Williams. I didn't listen to Wendy Williams. Um, her format pretty much was what they call the urban population group, and just potty mouth, just gossip, not real news. It was just about gossip and shocking and shaming people. So I didn't watch Wendy Williams. Uh, yeah, I think her radio program was in New York, and and then I didn't hear from her, about her. But she later got a TV program, and it was just maybe the last, oh, was it COVID time? I started hearing about her. Um, yeah, so she was part of the radio personality, and it wasn't the same. The radio was very clean. It was entertainment. You could listen to radio, music. Yeah, so um, in the 1980s, it was music I used to listen to heavily. I was heavily into music listening. And then I got into radio, talk radio. Yeah, I think I got into talk radio in the 1990s. Yes, the 1990s, because I didn't have a television a big part of the 1990s. And so talk radio was my outlet. Wasn't so much into music, um, but I listened to it. But I think the trend started um, changing the 1990s maybe, because you had the shock jocks, and then uh, I think for me, I stopped listening to the radio. Uh, it could have been pre-COVID. It could have been. It could have been. Yeah, because by this time, when that pandemic hit, yeah, that was 2000. Yeah, I was heavy on the internet. Yeah, so I stopped watching. I mean, I stopped listening to the radio. Um, just maybe 2017, 2020, or even 2020, 2012, 2013 even. Yeah, it could have been around that time. I stopped listening to the radio because these shock jocks, all these potty mouth radio personalities, they're usually grumpy older men, and they'll always be yelling. And I'm wondering, why are they so angry? Why are they angry? They wanted everybody to be angry like them. And I said, I'm not going to have it. I'm not going to have it. Yeah, these radio personality people in their potty mouths, and it became more political. Yeah, they didn't really talk about it wasn't it wasn't talk radio anymore. It was media, and media about who's doing what, uh, about politicians and world affairs. Yeah, yeah, that's what radio turned into. And I wasn't into urban music, and I didn't want to hear it. And I just felt it was becoming very sleazy, and I didn't want that. So I dumped radio. I mean, I was raised on radio as a little girl. I would fall asleep with the radio. I would listen to, yeah, back then I listened to Bible radio, you know, yeah, especially black channels, radio channels, or radio stations that catered to the black community. A lot of it was Bible talk, Bible music, things like that. And that was a big part of my life at one particular time, you know. Um, but it's slow. That genre slowly faded. Well, went into from Bible radio. It was about Bible prophecy. Yeah, the Bible radio introduced me actually to what they call conspiracy theories. Yes, and that was around, I think, 2008. And my little radio in the bathroom, and I would play it, and you could hear all throughout the house, the my one bedroom apartment, and it was the Bible. What call it? Bu- Oh, what's the name of the program? Bible something. Oh, I forget. It'll come to me later. But it's about Bible prophecy, and they gave like the radios. I mean, the internet address for it. So I found it. And that's what hooked me on to the internet. It was through that one channel. Yeah. Oh gosh, I can't remember the name, but it has word prophecy. Um, oh brother. But yeah, they would have guests on their show, and they would have a discussion. And it turns out that these programs, they were pre-recorded. And they were actually many of the interviews were actually from the 1990s. Yeah, I think the mid 1990s. And I'm listening to it, and it's about 2009. Yeah, about 2008, maybe 2008 to 2009. Yes, yes, it was. And that's how I got into it. I slowly started drifting into from radio to the internet. Okay, and I was hooked on this program because they talked about these conspiracies, these different topics, and that led me from one program to another on the internet. And also the 9/11 thing hit, and you had discussion with 9/11, And this, yeah, there were researchers that talked about it. And so now these events that was happening um, was turning into what do you call it? Global talks, because now a lot of people have internet access to the internet, and so who was watching these programs was international and 24/7 coverage. And you could listen to those reports over and over again in their archive. Yeah, and so yeah, like Michael Jackson now, I heard it on the radio, and I remember I got up the next morning. I got up early that morning. Could have been like 7 o'clock in the morning. And back then, we had what you call newsstands. The newsstands sold magazines and newspapers, and a lot of times little candies and everything. And I bought a newspaper, and I found a little nook in this area in Times Square to just be left alone. I had to read it. I couldn't believe it. And then Times Square had those um, I forget what you call it, where it's like a screen or like uh, a movie screen, and they would show the news, and they showed about Michael Jackson, and I was trying to look in the newspaper, and I was in shock, and then something told me to look up, and I was um, being recorded by what they call the paparazzi. Yes, I was. I looked because I felt something staring or something like a presence. I mean, Times Square has a lot of people. This is early, early in the morning. And I just discreetly went in this little nook in a building. I was just off the sidewalk, the main part of the sidewalk. And it's like when it rains or something, you could kind of like walk underneath it and get protected from the elements. And so that's where I was, just discreetly there, trying to find out what in the world happened to this major figure. And the man to my right had a giant lens camera. He was standing maybe about 6 feet away from me with his humongous size camera. And when he sees me looking up, he runs away. And then to my left was someone even closer. He said, "Oh, that's just a paparazzi. Here, here, lift up the newspaper." And he's touching my newspaper. Lift it up, lift it up, lift it up. I'm gonna take a picture. I'm gonna take a picture. I said, "Please, this is not the right time." Or something. This is not um how to say it? This is not the moment. And then he continued, and I said it stronger. And I repeated, "This is not the time." And then he just slowly walks away. Yes, this was the new media that had no boundaries. Yeah, I think Michael Jackson passed away with it 2009. So that's like, was that 16 years ago? Yeah, 16 years ago this year. 16 years ago. Yeah, now we don't have newspaper stands. They're gone. No, these were a very strong fixture in New York culture. The newsstands inside the subway. Yeah, you could get a little beverage to drink, the candy, the newspapers. And back then, who dominated the newsstand were people from South Asian descent. I would say maybe 98% of them. Yeah, we had this international newspaper stand. It was a store, and it sold newspapers from around the world. Yeah, from all over the world, the major newspapers. So you can even buy one. Yeah, you had the local newspapers, you had ethnic newspapers and the international. But now with media, current media, it's internet. Everything is digital. Everything is internet news. So people don't buy a newspaper, and then have them delivered to their home. People now have the internet and they get their e-news or e-newspaper from internet subscriptions. And people now have, YouTube, and have all these others I don't even listen to. Yeah, it's happening so fast now. And you have all ages now having equal access to their favorite type of news reporting. And they too seem to be getting younger and younger and younger. Everybody's getting younger now. And I feel that this news is being used to, in particular, manipulate and control the thinking of the teenagers, the teen and 20-year-olds. It now is like perversions. You hear of things on through YouTube primarily. With me, my primary uh, go to is YouTube, and they were filming. There were these thugs that kidnapped a retarded young man, could have been his early 20s, kidnapped him, put him in a building, was beating him up on camera, on camera, and they thought it was funny. Yeah, the news, it's propaganda. It is to shock you. See, they don't need the shock jobs of the 1990s. You just get some young teenager who has a cell phone. It's very affordable now, or somehow they're affording it. I don't know how they're affording the smartphones because they're in the it's over $1,000 now. Oh yeah, they have a payment plan. You could pay monthly. Yeah, these young people have access to a smartphone. They could record like a built-in camera, record you. They could record audio, and they upload it on their social media page, on their Facebook, and we're being set up. I remember when Facebook came about. Yeah, I remember there was a movie about the person who created Facebook. Yeah. And I said to myself back then, I said, I better go watch this movie because I think this is something that, because I always was a little bit behind the scenes of the trends and everything. I was late at everything. And I knew for me, I said, I better find out about this Facebook thing, this new type of thing that they're having out. Yeah. And he, this the founder of Facebook, it always had a nasty taste in my mouth because um, he's from an Ivy League school. He was a young person, and he allegedly uh, took took someone's idea. They were identical twins, and they had approached the founder of Facebook, and said, hey, you could collaborate with us and we could start such and such. But he took the idea, he stole the idea, allegedly, and started his own thing. And yet those twins did sue him, according to the movie. Yeah, there's a movie about it. Yeah, they had, the music also was a big factor. Yeah, the movie talked about, what do you call that thing? Oh, the iPod. Oh, what was it, iPod? No, no, no. What's that thing? It was some platform that you 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 can download it to, to, and listen to music. I think you buy the music and you just you could. Oh, I forget the name of this thing, but yeah, music was now on a different format, and this was popular for the youth. Yeah, is now the media now had the young people, because again, the young people back in the day, my growing up, they didn't watch the news. Now the news was part of the pop culture, the music generation, the people into the music, so the teenagers, 20s primarily, and they share content, and it's like the Wild West. And this Sliwa person, this radio personality in New York City, from New York City, um, addressed the issue with Michael Jackson, called him horrible names. I said, "Wow, the dead isn't sacred anymore." My growing up, you don't make fun of the dead. That's a no-no. That's a taboo. He had no boundaries. This Sliwa, I was shocked, and that's why I cried. I cried because now I lived in an era where nothing was sacred anymore. Even if someone did something or did not do something, you don't talk about the dead like that. Fast forward, uh, 2025, a little over a month ago, was the unaliving of this man named Charlie Kirk. And what are people saying? Because now it's not just radio. People have their cell phones and they're looking at video. So the young now is being introduced to extreme violence, extreme violence. Seeing someone unalived on their favorite um, program on YouTube or whatever, what social media. Shocking. And the shocking things that they are saying about the dead. It is so shocking to me. My mouth drops. These people, I watch some of these people, and they look like they lost their mind. And the young are being exposed to this, and they are now corrupt. They've been getting corrupt for years now. I hope in America and around the world, those people watching American media, please don't get pulled into it. Please don't get suckered in. Yeah, you're seeing news from around the world now. In Africa and Asia, they're fighting. It's all politics now. The youth are speaking out because they're sharing media and they're grumpy. They're not they're being babysitted by a smartphone that's very stupid. These phones are controlling, it seems like, every aspect of these people. They're not really socializing with their buddies. Everything is through the cell phone, and it's about popularity, and it's about how they're really sophisticated. They make me look bad in the sense that these young folks know how to engage the audience. They have a whole studio, very professionally done. Some of the people, and they're getting paid. And now these young people are being called, what do you call it? Personal, what do you call it? Influencer. Yes, that's the new term, influencer. I think I might have heard of the term, maybe it was before I came to Africa. So let's just say 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, the term influencer was introduced to me. That we weren't YouTubers, we were influencers. Who are we influencing? Are we trying? It's that's what's happening. We're trying to influence people. When I came on YouTube, um, I think it was 2013, my first little well, it wasn't a little video, it was a 40-minute video of being depressed. Well, I wasn't crying, but I was extremely upset because of the Trayvon Martin um, incident that happened in Florida. Yeah, it was just my means of just crying out to the universe. I heard about this, YouTube that you can upload. And I did it as a last resort to just, I needed someone to talk to. And that was it. It wasn't about influencing anybody. It wasn't about, what is it, getting what do you call it, affiliates. We have these sponsors and things. It was nothing. I didn't even know about those things. Now, it's a business. And these young people are going on this like a business. They don't need to go to college. And I think with the pandemic of 2020, people were forced to stay at home. And I think that was what the real nail in the coffin. It forced people to find connection with the world through the internet, through social media. And the minds of the young people are sensitive. The pandemic, I think, hurt their mind. The area where I lived in New York City, you had people committing um, self unaliving, self unaliving in my building and the building to the south and the building to the uh, what was that, to the east, I mean to the west. Yeah, people in my neighborhood were unaliving themselves. That was in 2021. It was very, very sad. So these poor people now, you're not the adolescent that was 17 at the time, they're now adults. You think those people that you see, those people that you see with the Charlie Kirk, how old are these people? They're college age people. They're college age. And many of them are affected in a negative way. You can't, I couldn't believe the things that some of the people in these age groups, these late teens, early to mid 20s, are laughing. Did they really know this man that passed away? That was unalived? Did they personally know him? I never heard of him. How could someone that I've never heard of to attract so many people on the internet to say such horrible, horrible things. I was taught growing up, you don't make fun of the dead. It was sacred. Because you all know that one day you'll be in that coffin, whether of old age or something bad happening to you. So we never said anything, at least outwardly and publicly, you know. So, yeah, I would say also, yeah, so it's multiple things happening throughout the past 40 years. But I think another big thing, you know, as I was saying earlier, um, I would say 2016, I started hearing these new terms like a cabal and the upcoming election in America. And I wasn't into politics. I'm still not into politics, but you can't help but see what's on the media. But I felt I was being seduced. Seduced with the, uh, you're for this person or that person. And I liked what I was hearing. I don't agree with everything that's being said. Whoever believes agrees with everything that someone says. But I like some of the things that he's standing for, with what I thought that candidate. And now things are really, yeah. But I would say 2016, and yes, that number 45. Yeah, I'll just say that number 45 was saying things, and people would get really upset. This person always had was very verbal. Always. I learned about number 45 about 44 years ago, 42 years ago. Yeah, the person had a TV show, and that was his shtick. That was his trademark, to be as loud and direct to people. That was his game. And but I would say it was at that time, to be honest with my feelings and not trying to cover up for number 45. Uh, for me, I felt the current change in 2016. And I was on that train, boy, and I enjoyed it. I had like a real rush watching. And bizarre behavior I started also seeing on the internet with his opponent. Remember the opponent? And it looked like she had a glitch. And you started seeing what looked like handlers. I would never see things like this back in the day. I don't remember this type of conduct and behavior. What's going on? But I think 2016, uh, and I think the term fake news is a key element in all this media. Fake news. Fake news. Why would that offend somebody? I mean, these news outlets were very powerful, and they've been around for decades. What do you care about someone saying fake news? Well, I think this might be the key thing, people. The news, he's giving the secret. What you see is not real. What you see is not real. He's giving the secret. And isn't it at that point in the candidacy of that person? Isn't that when things started to really get intensified um, through the public? and it just progressed to what it is today. It is so different. What was that? That was like, let's see, 9 years ago. 9 years ago. All this, yeah. This was yeah. It's things are escalating so much. The past 9 years was so intense, and you have all these young people who try to make sense out of the world that they live in, hearing people in leadership say things that back in the day, my growing up, you would never hear, but you're hearing it now. But I think that's when the poo poo hit the fan, when it was announced that what you are experiencing is fake news. I think that is the secret to everything what you're hearing on social media, because things are being staged. It looks like things are happening to people, and you wonder, why is this happening? I'm wondering what's going on. I'm hearing more and more really controversial news about Charlie Kirk. All these weird things, and hearing things behind the scenes, that some type of diary was found. And they never mention how someone finds a diary of somebody. You would think their loved ones would have it. This person has it. It is really getting like the Wild West, and it was frightening me. I find it hard, and I've shared this. I find it hard to stop watching the internet. It's like you got to get more and more of this news, and It's not healthy. Yeah, people. I'm also hearing that people are leaving America. People are leaving. Yeah, I left about 22 months ago. A little over 22 months. I left. I left my place of birth. And things now in New York City. I used to live near Times Square, and they had some march going on a couple of days ago. And I'm wondering what in the world. It's wild. Yeah, I didn't feel safe, people, in New York. Yeah, New York is considered a blue state. And I couldn't care less whether you're blue or red. I mean, I was not involved really with politics or who's running for office. I didn't like people in office. I mean, I didn't have any connection. I was repelled repelled by election years. I didn't like listening. I didn't like see them on the television. I wanted no part of them. But for me, it changed in 2016. Yeah, people, there are flavors out there, and it's like you choose your flavor. You choose your team. It's just a game, people. Yeah, it's yeah, you choose your team, but it's a game. It's not real. It's okay to favor one candidate over another. That's your right. And that's how I saw politics, even though I didn't want to watch any of it or participate. But I always felt, okay, it's your prerogative who you vote for, who you not vote for. But things weren't so simple in New York City anymore. Uh, you can't, at least I can't hide my feelings. And I felt my feelings could be seen in New York. and I felt I was in danger. I see these new people, that this one reporter, he's international now. I think I first saw him, I forget his name, but some little guy, young guy. And I may have seen him before I came to Africa. I said, wow, that's a young dude. And then he was interviewed by this other YouTuber, um, this Christian reporter. And that's how, I said, oh, I recognize that guy. Yeah, he was interviewed by, this young dude interviewed that other YouTuber that I was watching, the older Christian man. And now he skyrocketed. He got access to the president of America. Um, he goes around with his camera, and wow, he's unsafe. He's unsafe out there, and they want to beat him up because he doesn't believe in other people's philosophy. Is that is that right, people? Why can't we just discuss our differences, like men and women? Why are we taking it so personal about your political beliefs? You are being pulled in. Don't get pulled in, people. Don't get pulled into the melee. It shouldn't matter who you like in public office or not. You have a right to who you want to vote for or not vote for. And you're taking it so personal that you're willing to attack on camera. The boldness, especially in New York. These people in New York City are so bold. You have foreigners who are illegal. Let me reword it. You have illegal foreigners in living in the city who are getting benefits. They are many of them are selling bootleg stuff, and the public is buying it. It's not even real. So these are people who aren't really adding to the American fabric of wholesomeness. They are stealing. They are selling stolen goods or counterfeit merchandise, and they are passing off as real. And again, some of them, one person that was interviewed said they get paid they get $500 a day. Wow, $500 a day, and you're acting like that? I never made such money. I not even in 1 week do I make that much money. I never made that in a week, and he's making it 1 day. It is lawlessness, people. It is lawlessness in New York City. All these young people, a lot of young men. And here, you walking with your camera, and again, you could film when you're in public areas. And even if you're just filming yourself, they want to attack you. And you're filming yourself only. You are filming yourself only. Yeah. We're not safe. I didn't feel safe. I wasn't safe. I got attacked when I was in New York City, physically attacked. It came out of nowhere. It was such a beautiful day. I was coming home from my dentist. And in the middle of the street, I got pounded on my chest. I was in such pain. Anything could have happened. You get punched in the center of your chest, your heart could stop, people. And you know what? She was let go. Yeah, that was, I think, 2021 or 2022. Yeah, it was a lot of things happening. And they are encouraging these young people, teenagers, 20s, people in the 20s and early 30s, like 30 and younger. They are wild. They are damaged material, in my opinion. And I really think that 2016 was the start of it when it was announced fake news. It is fake news. You can watch something on a video, and it could be what they call AI, artificial intelligence, what do you call it? Computer generated images, CGI. It's called CGI. And you don't know what you're watching, what was inserted. And I heard recent 2 months that they have this new software, and you have to pay for it. I talked about it a couple of months, around 2 months ago. It's a software that you could, they have the free version. I think the free, and then they have. Oh no, no, wait a minute. Well, there's the version that does all the bells and whistles that you wanted to. You type into it, and like you're writing a script of what you want to be seen, and then I think it does 5-minute clips or something. I could be, I'm not 100% sure. I don't really remember exactly how many minutes or seconds, but it's real brief. And this software costs over $200 if you want the bells and whistles. Oh, excuse me again. Another further correction. Over 200 something a month. Over 200 something a month. I never heard of this type of stuff. I mean, I could see 200 something for the year, but for each month, well, what that is saying to me is that the potential of making a lot of money, and you upload that even 5 minutes or even 5 seconds, if it's done that well, you can maybe generate a lot of money. It can generate thumbnails for you, probably. Yeah, yeah. Things are happening. Things are happening so quickly that what's happening on social media. Okay, people now are being equipped with creating their own news, and you're getting pulled in. And what you watch, it may not even be real. It could be AI, computer generated images, computer generated videos, and they can show things that they could copy the person's voice, copy the person's face, and they put it in your hands, and you create your own reality with it. And they could manipulate the way you see. They could. Don't you think that they could use things like this and say that, oh, such and such country got uh, attacked, or this leader got attacked, or your favorite personalities got attacked. They could create your own reality, and you make a lot of money off of it. And when people want to give out the real news, they are being censored. They are being censored, people. I am being censored. I was being heavily censored in America. They had pulled videos from me. They put me in the doghouse a few times, and I couldn't upload or do anything for 2 weeks at a time. Or they say, oh, this content has to be reviewed. But if you contest it, we can reevaluate. And so I contested. It's, oh, yeah, you're right. Everything's okay. Where they knew in my videos is the first 24 hours or something like that. Whoever's going to watch my video is going to watch it, and that's it. So they know that. And then they prevent me from making, because at one point I used to be monetized. Well, they stopped my monetization just before I left to come to Africa. They pulled it November 2023, people. And a lot happened in 2023 for me. Yes. And you have forces out there, and they are letting you know that you new kids on the block are going to be monitored. And if you don't have permission to talk about certain things, we're going to pull you and we may hurt you. And that's what I've been learning now for the past, what was that? Oh, when did that happen? 2018, really, that these, I mean, they were pulling videos even back then, but you know, they were getting more personal with the content and how they feel about the content and limiting your ability to be seen. But yet you have people who show vulgar things. How come they didn't censor the unaliving of Charlie Kirk? Why did they show that throughout YouTube? Aren't they supposed to block violence? They were implying one time that I was promoting violence. I'm far from it. I am far from it. I am about peace. It's that they don't want you to share certain things. They want certain people to get traumatized by certain events. All of a sudden, it's okay to show someone being unalived on YouTube, but you couldn't talk about the news that was happening in 2020. Yeah, I had uploaded something that a medical doctor had uploaded, and it was pulled from my social media of that time and deemed that I was promoting wrong information or dangerous information. It's from a doctor who made a report about the patients that were being treated for that particular condition in 2020. Why can't a doctor share their findings or that was helping people? Because the system didn't want you to help people. It only allows some people to be seen and heard. And I said, wow, isn't it something? Yeah, they're pulling you through these approved people. They're sucking you in through those people, through their sentiments. And you even have the religious community being pulled in who are saying horrible things to their fellow, religious person. The way they're going about it's a little bit, I don't know. I mean, if something is wrong, then something is wrong. But it's like they're pulling you in their mess. They're pulling you in. And you could be a so-called or religious conservative, and you're saying things that you wouldn't ordinarily say. And it's happening. They're pulling you in because they want you to implode on yourself. I love humanity too much. I love humanity too much, and that's why I'm doing this video. You're getting pulled in. That's why I told the person, you're getting pulled in. Don't go there. Don't go there, people. They are all friends of each other, regardless of their political parties, regardless of their religion. They are in cahoots with one another. They are setting you up and they allowing you, the public, to be their soldiers and to do the attacking, the physical attacks. Those big hotshots don't get arrested. You do. They want you to fight their battles. And you're falling for it. You are falling for the melee. These people are all part of the same game, regardless of their political party. It's one big show for them. Why aren't any of them in prison? Because it's one big game. And you are falling for it. They have so much power to influence because now you could be a new YouTuber, you grab your cell phone, you go to another country, and you start filming away. Wow. Yeah, they don't need those other people anymore. They just get you up there and do all the work for them. Don't fall for it. These world leaders have something up their sleeve. They are all bedfellows, in my opinion, and they're manipulating you so that the narrative will be performed. They want you to hurt yourself. They want to set up these new societies, these 15-minute cities that will be global. They want you a part of the computer. What do you call it? Like a cyborg. They're going to take your brain and they're going to fuse it with the internet. People, go watch that movie. It's called Ghost in a Shell. Ghost in a Shell. This movie I saw a couple of years ago. I bought the tape, you know, on iTunes. But Ghost in a Shell is very, 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 um, very pointed. It's about it's supposed to take place in Japan in the future. Japan in the future, and you get the youth again. The youth retaliated. She left home to live with her peers, you know, and I guess they were riding, and the authorities came in, arrested her and her boyfriend, and guess what they did to that lady? They they killed her. Or I should say unalive. They unalived her in the movie, and they took out her brain and put it in a computer, and then they wiped her memory away, and then uploaded a new memory for her to explain her new existence, that her family died went escaping, and then it was they were in a boat and they drowned and she was the only survivor, something like that. Yeah, she was used by the government in the movie, and then she later on finds out her true identity. Hollywood seems to be writing the script for you and letting you know that something is up. Yeah, now, they have all this technology and um, they're going to be promoting these plantables in your body. Now it's, because we already have the cell phone in our hand, and then, it- you know, they're going to be implanted things in your body. And you'll want to compete with each other who got the latest bling bling or, the latest techie on the body. And that movie, Ghost in the Shells, has a very provocative beginning. The beginning of the movie, which really is insightful, it's like a banquet. They're all sitting on the floor. It's a long, long table. And they're in Japan. And you had two Africans, two sub-Saharan African phenotypes wearing this fancy African garb, and other people. And they did have like this earpiece or something. They were connected in part to technology, plantables. But this person that they were talking to was talking about deep implantation. And as the man who he's selling this product, about the um, plantables, and the thing in the brain, you know, and there were robots that were serving, and the robot was serving the salesperson. And when she's born, the robot is a female robot, Gishi, I think called a Gishi doll. I don't know, Gishi. And she's pouring the tea and it overflows and spills on the man. And the guy said, "Hey, what do you think you're doing?" Something like that. And the lady grabbed his fingers and broke it. And then the two African guys are in bewilderment. Said, "See, that's what we're talking about. That's what they talk about. It's gonna, take over." And that's what happened. That is one of the best. I think that's the best part of the movie. You watch Ghost in the Shell, people, and the first 10 minutes of when they give that part, that banquet, that is the best and most revealing part of the movie. Yeah, and it's interesting that they focus on the two African men. There were other guests there, but I guess they're letting you know the secret that uh, the developing world is going to be cautious. They're not going to accept everything that's given them. Yeah, you better not. Don't accept it. Don't fall for it. They're going to build these stuff, and it's designed, in my opinion, to replace you. See, they first have to program you mentally to think a certain way, to dislike your body, to start even questioning your body. Is it male or female? Well, if they have you confused what your gender is, they can also confuse you enough to feel that you need to get um, become a bionic man or woman. Remember that movie, The Bionic Man, and then later on The Bionic Woman? That's a cyborg, isn't it? That is a cyborg. Yeah. The guy had both of his legs and one of his arms, and his eyeball, and I think one of his ears. Yeah, that came out in the 1970s. They knew that yeah, the stream, if you look at the stream, they knew back then in the 1970s that they're going to incorporate man with machine, with machine. But ultimately, they want to put your consciousness in a machine. And there are movies about that too, putting your mind in a machine. Remember that movie? that it's like a toy world. Like they had like a miniature city, and they had this machine to shrink the people. And they said, oh, it's like a new world, and it cost a lot of money. And it was this husband and wife team that was going to go through the process. Well, the wife backed out at the last minute, and um, it's not reversible, the procedure. So the husband now is by himself, doesn't have his wife and family, and and he eventually, they're really like slaves. It's okay, we're gonna put you in here. You make it all look all cute, but now you got to do a particular job and everything. It's another form of slavery. Yeah, I heard of someone a couple of years ago. He had some terminal disease, and they asked him if they could upload his consciousness in a computer. Wow. Wow. You want that, people? They're creating monsters. They're creating monsters out there. And they initially started with the getting you out of shape, confusing your identity. It's like a one world now, so it doesn't matter what country you live in, you're all watching the same thing primarily. They will want you part of the system. They're creating these new cities, and it's really not for your development. They make you say, "Oh, we're just helping you." A lot of the things you see is to distract you. Isn't it also a coincidence? Look at this. There's something else that I saw in the news. Like first, it was the Charlie Kirk that happened a little over a month ago, and guess what came out 2 days ago? The thing with the lady that she allegedly unalived herself. She was one of the victims of Jeffrey Epstein. Was it Epstein? Yeah, I think that's his name. Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah, about her. Um, well, she passed away in April of this year, 2025. But she had a book in the making. The book actually, they said, was completed in October of last year, 2024. And a couple of weeks before her passing, she did notify the publisher that if anything happens to her, to publish it. Well, it was released, was that 2 days ago or something like that? All throughout my feeds, when I go on YouTube, everything is on her. All the recommend. So this is also social engineering. They are choosing the new flavor for the month. So September was the month of Charlie Kirk. Now October is the month for Jufree. Halasan Jufree. She was one of the victims of Jeffrey Epstein, and she allegedly unalived herself, but they never say how. And they never just talk to her family, her husband, she has children. It's never discussed. You never see them. So what's happening, people? Why is that virtually everything that I'm being showed, recommended, is all on that one topic? Her, and I'm not trying to be insensitive either. All things being equal, why are you only showing one news thing and not a cluster? Because they're letting you know this is the new flavor of the month that they want you to sample. They want you hooked. It's always one thing. Oh, but prior to that was Diddy. Yeah, so it's Diddy being um, arrested and convicted, and then Charlie Kirk, then now Jew Free. What's going to be next? I mean, it's like, aren't you getting tired? Why are they just pulling you into the mess? Now they're going to have, what's it? Um, women arguing on social media about women's rights. But do they really care about women's rights, or they just wanting people to just strife all day? That is my concern. And they have you running around in confusion, one trauma after the other. I did something yesterday. No, it could have been today actually, either last night or early this morning. Oh, my one of my favorite YouTubers. Yeah, they allow. Let me tell you, they allow you, like, it has, I think, three dots on it with the YouTube video. You press on it, and it could give you options, and one of those options is don't recommend the video. Don't recommend them. And I've been watching this YouTuber uh, at least 4 years, at least. I was getting burnt out. I was getting burnt out listening to them. At first, I thought their content was excellent. He's in Gematria. When I first learned about it through him, I thought it was fantastic. But now, I respect him, his work, but it's not sitting right with me. Like, he'll mention something like this or that is going to happen, and it doesn't happen. Well, last year he said that September to remember, and then he said like October this that's going to allege happening, and I'm worn out. I gave it for about 4 years, and this past year I was thinking about it. I said, he's getting, I think, a little consumed, and it's a little bit too much for me. And to say something's going to happen and then it doesn't, it puts you on edge. And I got to think, I got to protect myself. I mean, it's bad enough I'm on this YouTube all day, but I'm starting to shut down with this media. And I think that it's best for me to slowly wean away from these channels that I've been watching for a number of years and try to refocus on myself and my little dog. Yeah, we went out yesterday. Yeah, very, very, yeah, my doggy is very fragile. And yes, please pray for him. Please pray for a healing upon his body, his mind. Yeah, I love my little boy. Yeah, things are what they are. And I need a new shift. I need to start preparing for a new shift in my life that would be beneficial psychologically, just to strengthen myself. I need to strengthen myself, people. I can't be all over the place and getting anxiety. Uh, I have a whole ton of books. Oh, I have over 250 books. I need to start reading them. Yeah, I was collecting books. I started collecting books in 2015 when my paradigm shift happened. That I was introduced to something in 2014, December 2014. It could have been the last 2 weeks of November when it happened to me. And then by 2015, I was on a search. And in April of that year, 2015, um, 2015, I started buying books. I bought a whole slew of books in New York. Yeah, and I met a man who when I asked the the clerk in the store where a particular genre was, and when he asked me what author, and I gave the name David Icke. He showed me. I said, okay, I'll just browse around. There's something specifically that I want from his books. Well, standing right next to me, near me, I should say, was a gentleman, a black man. And he approached me. He said, you know, when you said the word David Icke, I knew I could approach you. And he shared with me that he had an implant, and he showed me it was behind his ear. Yeah, that was 2015. I started my quest to find out what's going on. Yeah, people. Yeah, this is, are we just trapped in a bubble or something? You know, not yeah, the latest type of genre that I'm hearing this year is about OBE, out of body experience. People who do it deliberately. You know, I'm not talking about people who had a near death experience, not that, but the people who do a meditation, and then they go through the process and they separate the consciousness from the body. Uh, I started watching their genre. Was it last month or something like that? Yeah, there are other things I can learn about, and that genre of researchers who do those out of body experiences deliberately, you know, not through a car accident or something, but by design, um, they are seeing things beyond the physical world, and maybe it's these areas that is really controlling, and it's a system that we live in. And I think this system is working overtime now to maximize the total effect for our demise. And then I think it's going to be um, a new creation, a new system, a new bubble that we're to live in. Life is cyclic and it's just going to repeat itself. And that's how they live, this system, how they live. I think I'd like to learn more about that, about the metaphysical world, because this physical world is just being manipulated. And I think maybe I should just cool off a little bit, a lot, and redo my focus. I have these beautiful plants that I'm trying to grow, and I can take more time in cultivating them. You know. So these are my thoughts, people. I see I've been on for 1 hour 48 minutes. Yeah. Do you feel you're getting pulled in? You're probably right. You're getting pulled in. People, wherever where you are, whatever what your choices are, please protect your mind, especially. Please protect yourself. And I think this whole mess that you see is all contrived. It's all about manipulation because they're all on the same side, but are pretending to be enemies of each other. So, with that last note, I'm looking outside now. The sky is completely white with clouds, heavy, heavy overcast. Yeah, I hope the sun comes out later on. Yeah, I went out yesterday with my little baby boy. We took a little walk. and to the triangle, as I call it. And yeah, it rained a lot yesterday. I think I might make some cornbread today and just have a wholesome breakfast with my little boy, my little fur baby, Lavender. Yeah, people, count your blessings. Count your blessings. You have family members that you love, you have little pets that you love. Focus on them. Focus on them. You got any good books or something? Hey, maybe you can sit down for a few hours and read some a book, read a novel or how-to book, just to prevent yourself from getting pulled in and sucked in to this mess. Don't fall for it. And again, if I've hurt anybody's feelings, whatever, this channel is not designed to offend anybody. I'm not here to offend anybody. If I ever offended anybody, I apologize. Yeah, I'm just searching, like many people here, trying to understand what's going on. It's a big place, people. It's a big place, and they all know each other. They all know each other, and please seek help if you feel unstable. Please take care of you, your body, soul, and spirit to get through this hump in life. Eat right also. Drink plenty of water with with your electrolytes. I'm not a doctor, I'm not giving out medicine, or medical advice, but hey, water is very useful to drink every day. It's good. It's a good beverage. You know, drink some nice water. Have some great food. Learn how to cook your food. Yeah, enjoy your food. Enjoy your own company. Okay. So this will conclude this live stream, and take care, people, and enjoy your family, your life, your pets. Okay? Signing off. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye bye.